After the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, 20 years ago, London felt like a city on the verge of a revolution. Suddenly everything was up for grabs, even the monarchy itself. For a few crazy weeks, this most enduring of institutions looked as if it might actually implode under the weight of so much emotion. For anyone there at the time, it was as electrifying as it was bewildering. The mood was febrile, angry, reckless. Flowers were piled knee-deep at the gates of the royal palaces, grown men wept openly in the streets, mild-mannered citizens inveighed against the usually blameless queen for what they believed was an inadequate response to a national crisis. Centuries of stiff upper-lipped repression boiled over in a great howl of collective anguish. Eventually the public regained its grip, and the monarchy, chastened and battered, but a monarchy nonetheless, endured. But as Britain on Thursday marks the 20th anniversary of Diana's death with commemorations, documentaries and books, a central, if unlikely, piece of her legacy is how she reshaped the monarchy that rejected her, and how she reshaped Britain, too. Diana in life was a loose cannon, an unpredictable wild card. In death, she had a galvanizing effect. Britain is already a very different place from Diana's era, partly because of a younger generation less enamored with old conventions. But her death also opened a door, for better or worse, for the country to become more emotional and expressive, and more inclined to value gut feeling over expert opinion even in such matters as Brexit, its vote last year to leave the European Union. Faced with a clear choice, modernize or die, the monarchy elected to modernize, led by Queen Elizabeth II but bolstered by a new generation of better adjusted, better prepared royals. The Windsors, whose most perilous moment came at Diana's death, in fact owe their endurance to her example, said Jonathan Freedland, a columnist for The Guardian, a left-leaning newspaper. The Queen is particularly alert to learning lessons from experience, and in this case the lesson was, don't get on the wrong side of public opinion. Diana was glamorous, magnetic, photogenic, mercurial, manipulative and intuitive, media victim and media perpetrator, the real Princess of Kensington, a reality star before such a thing existed. If she is a less defining figure to the generation that has grown up since her death, she still is an object of fascination for the generations who were stunned when she died 2 decades ago, at the age of 36. We gossip about her as if she had just left the room, the novelist Hilary Mantel wrote recently in The Guardian. And so the papers are full of snippets of news that have somehow managed to escape public disclosure until now. A tourist from Ohio emerges from obscurity to claim he was in a tunnel in Paris at the time of the car accident that killed Diana, her boyfriend, Dodi Al-Fayed, and their driver, Henri Paul. A Diana watcher reports that the princess, her identity muted by a voluminous headscarf, regularly visited the grave of the police protection officer whom she loved and who died in what she believed was an establishment plot, but was really just a motorcycle accident. Diana's energy healer reveals that she has heard from Diana recently, from beyond the grave, and that, in case you were wondering, the deceased princess is pro-Brexit. She was interested in the referendum and suggested I vote to leave because Britain was really great before the EU, the healer, Simone Simmons, told the Daily Star. Beyond these sorts of details, which help to keep the princess in the public consciousness and to sell tabloid papers, Diana's influence is perhaps most evident in the evolution of the royal family. During the days after her death, known now as Diana Week, a nation that had always appreciated the monarchy's adherence to tradition was suddenly demanding that it tear up the old rules and learn new ones, right on the spot. Show us you care, the Daily Express said in its emblematic headline, imploring a staid queen, who had never once let down her guard in public, to address the nation and lower all her flags to half-staff, even as every fibre of her deeply conservative being militated against it. Seriously shocked by what they encountered, the royal family had no choice but to respond. The times were changing, and they were not keeping up with the times, Mr. Freedland said of the royal family. But the truth is, they did manage to modernize. As an example, Mr. Freedland pointed to the Queen's brief, witty appearance in a film for the opening ceremony of the 2012 London Olympics, in which she greeted the actor Daniel Craig in his guise as James Bond and then appeared to parachute with him into Olympic Stadium. The first part was real, the parachuting was done by a stuntwoman. The new generation, namely Diana's 2 sons, William and Harry, and William's wife, Kate, has put a youthful,